This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at CES 2014. I'm at the Intel booth, and joining me is none other than Anil Nandoori, Director of Perceptual Computing for Intel. Welcome to the program, Anil.
Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Now, I'm very excited by a lot of the stuff I'm seeing here today. Why don't you tell us about some of the highlights that Intel has to show as far as immersive technology?
Right. So we've been looking at embarking on how you can make computing more natural and immersive. Now, we as humans communicate through using our eyes, our ears, our hands, and our gestures and emotions, but computing devices have this 2D view that they see of the world. So one of the things we said is that how do you apply senses to computing devices so that they can learn and see the world like we do? Okay, one of the key aspects of it, what we introduced at CES 2014, is the Intel RealSense technologies, where we can bring more of these immersive technologies into the computing mainstream. One of the first things that we were talking about and wanting to do is bringing, a 3D camera, or the 3D sensing camera, depth sensing camera, something like the order of this. We have miniaturized a 3D sensing camera that can fit into lids of laptops, ultrabooks, tablets, all in ones. So you can actually put this and have a short-range interaction with fine-level, finger-level depth map granularity that you can interact with.
So for those who are unfamiliar, why is having a stereoscopic camera so important for accomplishing this?
Because it's natural. We humans have two eyes. So having two eyes to the computer will see the world around it in 3D.
Let me rephrase the question. So I take it this has a lot to do with gesture control, am I right?
Gesture is only one element of it. Once you have the world in 3D, I can take your face and change the background. I can actually understand your emotions. I can see whether you're smiling, how you're reacting to a gameplay, for example. I can actually also do augmented reality. I can take it again, depending on how you put the camera, whether you're looking at you or looking at the world. I can do a lot of interesting, experiences that make the digital and the virtual world lot more immersive. We showed some of the demos at our keynote that our CEO had showcased, where you could actually we had a tablet where we were looking at a little, a toy box, and you were interacting with it with digital objects, but the world was real. And so there's lots of fun things you can do with this.
Okay. Now, when it comes to using a stereoscopic camera for capturing information, is it giving you positional data? Is there an advantage for having a 3D camera?
Yes. No. When we talk about depth sensing, I'd rather refer to as depth sensing. There are different ways of bringing depth data to it. Stereoscopic is one of the ways you can do it, but you can do many ways in getting a full 3D depth map on it. So you're really getting is a full 1080p RGB image. Along with it, you're also getting a depth map, which means that there's pixel information. Think of it like sheets of paper that you're taking off a photograph that's building up the whole scene in front of it. So that's what, and with that gets you the ability of an accuracy to detect 10 fingers at the same time and fingertip level accuracy within a meter of the usage.
Now, I'm looking at the cameras. There's obviously two lenses because it's stereoscopic.
Yeah.
Now, looking at another device like Kinect, for example, one camera is real, another one's for depth map purposes. Is this a similar idea, or are they both unique cameras?
There are different technologies, but they do the similar things. So I think I don't want to get into details of how each camera technology works, but there are different kinds of technologies. There's time of flight, there's structured light, there's stereoscopic. All of them, the end state is to provide a depth-based sensing capability.
Okay. Now, what about latency? One of the big challenges with these gesture technologies is that, you move your hands and then there's an instant later before the system picks it up. Have there been dramatic improvements in this regard?
And that's the key part of it. From a consumer expectation, this needs to work flawlessly and needs to work, immersively. And latency is a key part of it. So you definitely need to be in the 30 to 60 plus frames per second, especially if you're doing fine gesture level interaction. And having the 3D camera makes gestures very robust. And so you can always count on it to be able to be repetitive, and it'll do the same thing, and you can actually expect it to work all the time. And that's why the RealSense technology helps build those sensing framework into the computing devices.
Now, what I'm seeing with the existing RealSense devices, are they called RealSense devices? Is that how we should refer to them?
No, the technology is RealSense, and you will see products using RealSense both developed by Intel, by our partners, and as well as software partners who are using our technologies to bring experiences to market. So we've released a software developer kit. We've had more than 27,000 downloads on it, and you'll see some of the examples of applications that some of our partners have done, as well as some internal development software.
So we're going to go through some of those samples momentarily, but just to give an example, like I'm looking at some of these cameras and they were labeled as creative.
Right.
So what role did Intel have in making these cameras possible?
So when we started incubating this program, we partnered with Creative to help foster the ecosystem. So before you get devices integrated, and so we are focusing on integrating these cameras into devices, but we also see a huge market where peripherals and others do play a role. We partnered with Creative in helping foster the developer community, as well as working with them. They've been a very good partner of us in helping bring some of these technologies to the developer community.
So did Intel have a role in the hardware or mainly the software? Like how would you define the role?
Intel's role has primarily been in development, in the vision, as well as in the capabilities. So we as Intel are very, strong, focused on working through partners and the ecosystem. So there are different pieces of it. We kind of brought it together. We brought the software developer kit together. We developed that, and we used the tools from different parts where it matters from the industry, and helped and enabled it on IA-based devices so that the developer community can take advantage of it.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Now, before we start going through the samples, one more question for you. What I'm seeing so far is the cameras are placed on top of the computer monitors or on top of the tablets. Is this something that's focused on the arms and the fingers, or could this possibly span the whole human body? Like, what's it intended for?
So our focus has been more on the personal experience and the personal devices. Usually you are in these form factors where you're sitting about a meter or so in front of it. So that's the focus area. Now to do the usages around that device form factors are going to be about fine finger level articulation, how it can read your face, understand your emotions. So there's a whole lot more than just doing gestures. Immersive video conferencing and video blogging. Now I could be talking to you here. We don't have any green screen, but using the 3D sensing technology, I could actually insert and change the background to whatever you like. We could be in Hawaii at the same time, and we could be doing it real time.
Okay, excellent, excellent. One more question before we start seeing the demos, because I know you're excited to show the demos, is, when Windows 8 came out, there was obviously a big emphasis on touch screens, that you had to touch the screen physically, and there was a limited supply at the time. Obviously that has significantly improved. This gesture technology, is this a viable alternative to touch screens? Is this something people could get for their existing equipment?
No, so I think the way people should be looking at these input controls has been what you would like to use the best and most effective for your usage, right? We don't believe that each capability is replacing or displacing some other technology. For example, the mouse did not displace the keyboard. The touch is not displacing the keyboard, but they augment and bring new immersive experiences. There are things you could do with touch you could not have done with a mouse and a keyboard, and there are things you could do with a mouse that you could not do with a keyboard. And I think the gesture interaction brings a new modality of interaction and immersiveness that you couldn't have done before. So I think there's a lot of fixation about displacement, but I think it's more about how this enhances your experience.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, why don't we take a look at some demos?
So here, I can actually play music with my gestures, okay? And I can actually, reach in. And you like immersive technologies? You can see how you can, change like the floating display as you come in closer. In fact, you can even put your head in. And you can grab objects, you can move them. And you're literally having a little virtual DJ machine in here, and you can, and all the 10 fingers can help you, and it's tough to hear here, but then we did this on stage yesterday. It was actually a very fun little lab. Okay, you can
give it a go.
Try it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try this out now. So I'm just sticking. Where do I? Okay.
this is just two motions, right?
Look at that.
You have to interact with technology.
So the latency seems to be really low to me. It doesn't, I don't see much in the way of a delay. I don't know how complex this is, but that's really cool.
So here we have another demo where we are trying to bring books to life. There's a book about a story that you read to a child, but then what's amazing is that you can actually engage the digital environment and bring the reality of the book into your digital world and then interact with it, like a spinning top for the kids to go have fun with. So you can go to different pages, and as you point a page, it moves to a different scene. And then again, there's the interaction built into each of these storybook pages.
So is this intended to be like a new way to tell kids stories?
Definitely, and this is now using a combination of augmented reality and Intel RealSense technology for depth sensing, and using the combination of it in bringing a new experience more immersive.
Very exciting stuff. So what role did Intel have in this development?
This particular app actually was developed in-house to show the capability. Now, we actually work a lot with our partners in the ecosystem to actually bring these to market. And we announced partnership with many key ISVs, including Scholastic, where they're working on a comic book with Clifford the Big Red Dog, which we showcased yesterday, to have a way to teach children a new fun way of learning.
When do you think we'll start to see products on the market?
Second half of 2014.
Good stuff. So just in time for the holidays.
Hopefully.
Okay, very good. Well, let's see what else you've got cooking here.
Okay. So what we have is another example of a game here. This is a 3D pinball. I know you've all played pinball in the arcade machines before.
Yeah.
So now you're using this little card here. You don't have any other controller to basically, wait for the targets to, as the ball comes, there you go.
All right, okay, good stuff, yeah. And here we go. So it picks up my left-right movement. Does it go forward and back as well? Oh, I see, I could even slide it.
Slide it up and down, yeah.
So I could even tilt it. That's very cool. And this is just, is this just
It's a paper, there's no special markers or anything on this.
Here we go. Oh. I'm curious how much you expect the cameras to go for.
So this, so we haven't disclosed any details on this yet, but we expect these to be, integrated into products that are mainstream consumer devices. That's our goal.
Do you see this as an OEM product, something that comes bundled by default with machines?
So that's what we have announced partnerships, and 7 OEMs are bringing products based on this technology in the second half of 2014.
Okay, good stuff. So Anil, what do we have over here?
So what we are having is basically it's a prototype called Illusion Springs that we called it. But again, how you can bring new experiences when you have depth sensing. What you have here is a floating display, as you can see, and the ability to actually interact. And the depth sensing with the RealSense technology is actually helping you use, some of these capabilities. And you can actually use a virtual keyboard in the air. Imagine the kind of applications you can have if it's an ATM machine, and only you can see the keypad, and it's gone once you're out. And they can change the order of the keypad, and only the person in front of it can see it, and you're actually typing in air. So
if I may, so there's a security benefits to using a technology like this.
Again, there are different kinds of applications. It could be, concierge. I can see many kinds of use cases in concierge applications, hotels. You can, they want to see the map of the hotel or the convention center. You can quickly go look at it, but then the desk is clean. So again, it comes up as a floating display. You could do video conferencing. So the possibilities are endless. The innovation will come from the ecosystem.
So what role did Intel have in this development?
So we worked with partners in building together the tools to be able to have this capability come to life. So we put a lot of work into the software in bringing this particular experience over here at CES. But again, we are working with our industry partners and bringing these capabilities.
So are there any goals to see this commercialized sometime soon?
No, again, we haven't decided that. Our idea here is to showcase the innovation and what the possibilities are, and then work with partners in the industry and bring some of these to market.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So let's move on to our final station. There we go. This is really nice, of course. Now this is, I take it this is the high definition version of the Oculus Rift, am I correct?
And optimized for the 4th generation core processors.
Okay, so what has Intel been doing with Oculus when it comes to optimizing for virtual reality?
So again, we have, using our graphics as well as the accelerators in our silicon, actually bring, all of this immersiveness primarily in helping improve latencies, and not having any lag, because it's very sensitive, and as you can see, it's very immersive experience, and you don't have any lag.
Now, do you know offhand, is this the latest version of the Rift, or is there a later version to happen after this?
This is the HD version. I believe this is the latest.
Okay. So for those who are using the original Oculus Rift, I'm talking about the first developers kit, this is a remarkable improvement over what there was before. This is definitely high definition. Well, this is really, so it's 1080p. Again, I mean, we'll have to see if there's actually an even later version. I mean, I know I'm getting you on the spot here, but as as an interim, even from one step over the developers kit, this is really a remarkable improvement, and everything looks really sharp. And my head moves around. It's
look behind.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. And I'm sorry that our viewers can't see this, but I'm in the cockpit, and you could actually see the glass of the cockpit around and see all the fine detailing. The only thing I'm a little unclear on is if it has positional tracking, so we'll see if the tracker's even improved since. But this is very impressive. So when it comes to Intel working with Oculus, what are the big challenges that Intel's looking to overcome to make VR better?
So the main is that you don't want to have any kind of motion sickness, and you want to get the full experience and the full immersive experience. And to do that, it takes compute power. So we believe that using the Intel 4th generation core and later, you get these capabilities to be optimized for these kinds of experiences.
Okay, excellent. So right now you're using Intel CPUs, I take it. Are you using an Intel GPU as well, or what are you using to make this thing work?
So sorry. It's okay. Okay. So it's a gaming rig. So there are different configurations. So it's for the best immersive graphics experience.
Okay, excellent. Very impressed. Thank you so much for showing all this immersive technology here at CES.
Enjoy the show.
And we will. Thanks again.